coordination and control. Basically, in this chapter, this is a quite lengthy chapter, and it has further subtopics in which we will be studying the human nervous system and what are the component of human nervous system, how nerve impulse is basically transferred from the receptors to the central nervous system and then to the effectors. We will be discussing the terms as well. And then we have sense organs, in which we will be discussing in detail for the human eye. Then we have to discuss homeostasis and hormones. In hormones, we will be discussing adrenaline in detail, and the rest of the other hormones we will be discussing. For example, insulin we will be discussing in the homeostasis, and then the other hormones which are involved in the reproduction in human beings, for example estrogen, testosterone, progesterone. These we will be discussing in human reproduction, right? And then we have homeostasis is basically how the human body controls the temperature and glucose and water level in the human body. A few years back, the water level maintenance was also there in your syllabus, but now we have to study only two things. uh, yes, it is being recorded, right? The only yes, the two things which are the temperature control and the glucose control, how the blood glucose is controlled in our body, because these things have to be controlled. So let's start with the mammalian nervous system. When we say mammalian, it means that we are not only talking about human being, we are also talking about other mammals as well, because sometimes in your exam they gave you questions and in which they do not mention you that this is the nervous system of human being or this is the digestive system of human being. Sometimes they give you the digestive systems or nervous system or circulatory system from other mammals or from other animals. But when, because mammals have all a very similar kind of structures, and their physiology is same, right? So that's why if they are mentioning, you do not have to be confused, right? Actually, they want you to use the same knowledge that you will be learning in this chapter regarding the human nervous system. Right now, what is nervous system? Nervous system is basically that system of our body, that system which includes those organs which basically coordinates the other organ. Basically, it is the coordinate, it is the system that coordinate all the other organ system in your body, and it helps them to perform their functions in coordination and in a proper way. So as you know that wherever there is any factory or any office or any school, any organization, there is always a manager, right? So nervous system plays the manager who manages other, you could say the subordinates, how they are working. So nervous system is that manager, and in this system there is the central nervous system is basically is of two types: the peripheral nervous system and the central nervous system. The central nervous system is basically comprises of your brain and spinal cord. You might have heard their names earlier before. Previously, there were in your syllabus, in 5090 syllabus, the parts of brain were also included, their functions, their structures, how to identify them. But now you do not have to, basically they are not there. We only have to just remember that brain is a part of the nervous system and the central nervous system, right? So what you need to understand is that how your nervous system is made up of, right? When we talking about nervous system is basically the system which is controlling the messages from different organs, which is controlling the different organs to be connected with each other, to coordinate with each other, because there are some organs which have different functions and they are associated with other systems as well, right? So the whole body is basically connected with one central nervous system, which gives the message and which receives the message from those parts, and then they provides the order, they instruct them what to do in which situations, right? So when we say nervous system, let me increase the font size. So when we say the nervous system, right, so nervous system is an organ system that includes different organs like brain, like spinal cord, like nerves, right? So these are the organs. As you know, the organization of an organism, that they consist of the organ system. So nervous system is an organ system which has different organs which are working together. Brain has its own function, spinal cord has its own function, nerves have their own function, right? Then they would be having some tissues as well, but together they are working together to do that function of coordinating with all parts of your body. Means if your digestive system is connected, if the digestive system has to be instructed from somewhere, your circulatory system has to be instructed from somewhere. As we discussed in the last previous two classes, the gas exchange and respiration, that how when you are exercising, your breathing system and your circulatory system, they were working together to supply you more oxygen and to remove the carbon dioxide and lactic acid from your cells and tissues, right? And in this situation, when you're exercising, both the two system although exist separately, but they are coordinated, and they are coordinated by the manager, by the supervisor, who's the brain, who's instructing that what to do in which situation and which organ has to do what in which situation, right? So basically it has the organs like brain, spinal cord, and nerves. Now you would be understanding that nerves are actually, they are the organs, and they have uh, they are a bundle, they have the bundles of neurons or the nerve cells, right? Those neurons or the nerve cells together, they make the nerve tissues, right? And then they are basically they are sealed in nerves. So nerve is like that vessel which contains the neurons or the nerve cells. Neuron and nerve cells are same, but we will be saying, in spite of nerve cell, we will be saying neurons in this chapter. And I would suggest you that whenever you would be writing in your exam, in spite of writing nerve cells, write neuron whenever you have a diagram of any neuron, right? So nervous system is basically is of two, it has two parts, that is central nervous system, right, and the peripheral nervous system. Now, the central nervous system means the main manager, the main coordinators, the one who instruct, right? The peripheral nervous system means those subordinates who takes the message from the main coordinator and send it to the one who wanted, right? So basically, the central nervous system here consists of the brain and spinal cord. Brain and spinal cord are the part of your central nervous system. They are those instructors or the managers or the coordinators that basically instruct what to do and what to not, and what to do in which situation, right? And the peripheral nervous system basically involves nerves, right? Nerves outside brain, and nerves and nerve cells, nerves and those neuron outside the brain and spinal cord, basically they takes the message from brain and spinal cord, deliver them to the different organs and tissues, and they also takes the messages from those organs and tissues from different receptors and uh, bring them to the central nervous system. So I would be, for your reference, I would be posting here some diagrams so that you may get an idea that how the peripheral nervous system and the central nervous system looks like. A central nervous system, we also say CNS, and peripheral nervous system we say PNS, right? So as you can see in this picture, this brain, which is connected with your spinal cord, this long vertebral. This spinal cord is basically is protected by your vertebral column, right? And this is the central nervous system. Now, as you can see, many nerves, they are spreading in all your body. So these nerves basically contain the neurons, which takes the message and delivers the message from the brain to the brain, and from the brain to all parts of your body. So outside this brain and spinal cord, all the nerves outside them, they are the peripheral nervous system, and this is your central nervous system. So you must have an idea. You should be able to identify, and you should also be able to identify their differences as well, right? Because sometime, because a couple of years back, they had given a question in exam, in which they had given two basically diagrams, in which one they only mentioned a human body in which the brain and spinal cord was drawn only, right? And in the other diagrams, all the nerves have been drawn, no brain and no spinal cord. And they asked the student to identify, to label each diagram, that which type of nervous system is that. So if you would know that it is the central nervous system, that which contains brain and spinal cord, you would be definitely able to label it. And the nerves containing, then it is the peripheral nervous system, right? Or you could say that PNS. Fine. Now we have to study that these the nervous system is made up of a specialized cells which are called neurons, right? Now you have to study what is the structure of neuron, what is the function of neuron, how they are made up, of what are the types of different neuron, right? So I am about to uh, paste basically a diagram of a label diagram of a neuron, and we will be discussing the structure, because we had not done this in chapter cells, in which we studied specialized cells, right? Because we had to study in detail in this chapter, right? So that's why I had left it, and we will be discussing it in this class, so that you may have an idea that how it looks like. Now see in the diagram, these are the three, all three of them. This is one, this is two, this is three. All three of them are neurons, right? But they look different, right? They look different, they have different function as well, and their location is different as well. So the first and important thing is that we should discuss a journal structure of a neuron, and the adaptations of that neuron structure, so that you may, and after that we will be discussing different types, right? The three types are mentioned here, but first we will be discussing that how this neuron, which is a single cell from here till here, this is a single cell, right? But this is a specialized cells which has adaptations in structure. Now how are the adaptations? As you can see that it has a cell body, right? And this cell body, we can see that many cell membrane has been branched out or like that. These structures are called dendroids, right? These structure are called dendroids, and this cell body has cytoplasm, nucleus, mitochondria, the regular uh, you could say the cell organelles are present here. But this part is called the cell body. Same, this is present here, this is present here, right? And this is also present here. So the part of the neuron that has the nucleus is called the cell body, right? And another adaptation is that they have many mitochondria. Why many mitochondria? Because the function of the neuron is to transmit the nerve impulse, right? To transfer the nerve impulse, and for this energy is required. And when the energy is required, so the mitochondria job is there, and for this purpose there are lots of mitochondria to produce so much energy, so that the nerve impulse transmittance does not stop. Even when you are sleeping, your brain does not stop working. Your brain is still working, and your neurons, through your neurons, the continuously the messages are being sent from your receptors to your brain, to your effectors. Means your brain and the nervous system does not stop. It's a 24 by 7 kind of thing, same as your circulatory system, right? Same as your digestive system, same as your excretory system. They work 24 by 7, right? They are doing something in your body, right? So this is happening. Now this is the cell body, right? It has the nucleus, it has these branch like structure. You should know their labelings as well, because sometimes they ask you, but they are also important to get to know, because when we will be discussing synapses, that how two neurons are connected with each other, there you must know that where is the dendritic and where is the axon terminal. Now every neuron has two ends. One end is this and one end is this. Now this the end where the dendroids are found, the small branches are formed. This is called dendritic end, right? And a long fiber is going here. This is called the axon, right? Axon neurons are quite specialized because they have a very long filamentous kind of extension, cell extension. Now this is the cell extension, and this cell extension is quite long, so that your brain can be connected with the distant part of your body as well, right? So this is called the axon. The axon is same here, the axon is also same here. Yes, but this type of neuron does not have it. We will be discussing it later, that why it's not the axon terminal is not longer here in this neuron, right? So this long fiber like structure is called axon, and these structures, the roots, you could say that this is called the axon terminal, right? This is the axon terminal, this is the dendritic terminal. And you should also remember that which end is connected to where, right? Dendritic terminal is always connected to the, okay, now there are certain terms as well that you would be you should know, so that when I will be discussing in detail that what are, how the neuron is working, how it is connected, there are certain terms which you should remember, and they are receptors, effectors, right? Now receptors are those cells, specialized cells, basically, who sense the change, and who basically uh, who sense the change in their environment, who takes the signal, and then they forward this signal to the brain. And effectors are those specialized maybe tissues or cells, right, or glands, which basically take the message from the brain to do something in response to that signal. For example, if you are feeling cold, there are certain temperature receptors in your body that basically feel the change in the temperature. Now they send the message to the brain, right? So there are the receptors. Receptor means that recept, those who are present, who have sensors, right? They sense the change in the environment, they take the stimulus. Now what is a stimulus? A stimulus is something, any change in the environment, either the internal environment of your body or either your external, right? External means your outside, and internal means if there is a change in blood glucose level, if there is a change in the pH of the blood, or if there is a change in oxygen level or carbon dioxide level, is like that, right? So stimulus is basically what? Change in the environment, right? Either internal or external, right? That basically the sensors in your body feel, they takes the stimulus, right? So the receptors are those specialized cells, right? They sense the stimulus, right? They sense that there is something changed, there is something we should forward this to brain to think about it, to take a notice of it, right? And effectors, now effectors are, you could say that in other words, receptors are your input devices, like your keyboard, mouse, right? Your brain is your CPU that works, and effector is your output devices, right? Perhaps by this way you can understand. So effector are those structures, they may be muscles or they may be glands, right? They may be muscles or they may be glands, who basically takes the message from the brain, and they basically do the response. They give the response that how the body would behave. For example, if you're feeling cold, if your temperature is getting down inside your body, brain a message sent to the brain, then brain send the message to the effectors, which are usually muscles like your skeletal muscle that start contracting and relaxing and make you shiver. Feel you started shivering. Now the shivering is just because of the muscles. So your muscles are the effector that are responding towards that stimulus of the low temperature, which was basically sensed by the receptors. So effectors are muscles or gland, or you could say that they are those structure which basically uh, respond to the stimulus. Now, this stimulus is basically sensed by the receptors. Brain basically and spinal cord decide what to do with this, and you do not need to define the parts of the neurons, but you need to remember their names and certain times from where to where they are connected. That we will be studying in when we will do synapses. Then you will study that how two neurons are connected with each other. You do not need to remember their definition. There is no definition. I mean, dendroid, there is no definition for that. But yes, dendritic terminal is a terminal. I mean, on one end there are dendroids, on the other we have axon terminal, and in mid or sometime at the end there is a cell body. You only need to remember their names. You need to identify that which is dendritic terminal, which are dendroids, which are axons, that which with practice you will remember. Because first time when we read or when we basically discuss these structures, so students do not remember, but slowly gradually when we keep on discussing in every class, you will start to remember their names of the structures, and you will be able to understand that how they are connected to each other, or what are their functions, right? So these are the terms that you need to remember: receptor, effectors, and stimulus. Now, why I'm defining these terms to you? Because sometimes you have to identify which is receptor. They, for example, they give you an example of any process, right? In over there you would have to identify the receptor, and then in another process you have to identify the effectors, right? That what are the effectors, what are those structures which are responding towards the stimulus. And sometimes they want you to identify the stimulus, and what is the stimulus, what was the change in the environment. So if you know their definitions, if you know what are they, then you will be able to identify them in different examples as well, right? So we were actually discussing where are the neurons. Oh, the neurons have gone. Let me paste them again. Let me paste some further simplified diagrams of a neuron, in which first we will discuss the structure of a neuron, right? And then we will be discussing different neurons and their differences, right? Okay, now if you can see, right, this is a neuron, this is the dendroids, these are the dendroids, this is the cell body which has the nucleus, right? And this is basically the cell membrane. The mitochondria are there, ribosomes are there, cytoplasm is there, cell membrane, everything like a regular animal cell, right? So this is the cell body, right? And then there is a long fiber like a structure which is going. Now as you can see that this cell is specialized because this is polynucleated. Do you understand? Polynucleated means it has more than one nucleus. Now this is one cell, but it has, you can see nucleus here, here, and here, right? So far we have studied that a cell has a big nucleus in the center, but this is that specialized cells that is polynucleated and it has more than one nucleus, and this nucleus is basically helps them to make this myelin sheath. Now why this myelin sheath? Now see, the axon is the, you can see this, the axon, this is the axon, the thin fiber like a structure which is going, and outside this axon there is a sheath which is called myelin sheath. Now this myelin sheath is made up of fats and lipids. Now this lipids basically help the electric impulse, I mean this insulates the axon terminal, because the nerve impulse which is transmitted from one neuron to another neuron, it is in the form of electrical impulse. Now electrical current, electrical impulse, so there must be some insulation as well, just like our wires, they are enclosed in plastic wrap, right? Our wires are never, for example the copper wire, the silver wires, they are never laid without the plastic covering, so that there is an insulation of that electric current, so that it may not conduct somewhere else, right? So in order to the electrical impulse to move in this direction without conducting here and there, right, these myelin sheaths are there which basically insulates that the, which insulates the neuron, that so that the electrical impulse, now how this electrical impulse move, this electrical impulse move like this, like this. Now in this place the electrical impulse, the electric current won't, can't go, because this is insulated, this is with the myelin sheath. Now here is the gap, so the electric impulse would jump from here, the electric current will move from here, then here, and then here. Now as you can see that this structure basically helps the quick transmittance of the nerve impulse, because you know our body requires the response immediately, instantly. Now this immediate and instant response requires the quick flow of the electrical impulse. So if the electrical impulse flow from the whole axon, it will take a lot of time, so make it done faster. We have this myelin sheath basically that insulates it as well, and due to which electrical impulse conducts, moves, jump in jumping form, and it covers the distance quickly as compared to moving in straight direction. I hope you people are understanding this concept, that why having this myelin sheath important, although so far they do not ask what is the, why, how myelin sheath helps for the quick transport to quick transfer of electrical impulse, but this is something that you must have an idea, that this myelin sheath is basically the lipid layer, and this these nucleus, they basically codes for those lipids, and their myelin sheath is generated, and this myelin sheath prevents the conduction of the electrical impulse in this region, in this region, so that electrical impulse, the electric impulse may move forward in bouncing form. See, it is bouncing from here to here, and this way it is covering the distance uh, quickly, right? Because it's a long distance. For example, from your fingertip till your brain there is a distance, so it would take time to occur, and you respond the things in microseconds. As soon as you touch any hot object, within milliseconds you just withdraw your hand from that hot object. How does this happen? Because this is something that how fast your nerve impulse transfers from your finger till your central nervous system, and from your central nervous system till your finger. I mean, you sense from your finger that you have touched something hot. This message is sensed by your receptor. Now receptor send this message to your central nervous system, right, brain and spinal cord, and your brain and spinal cord struck them, and within millisecond you just withdraw your hand, and this withdrawal of hand is actually done by your muscles. your muscles contract and relax, and you withdraw your hands. Basically, there are the two types of muscle, biceps and triceps in your arm, which are antagonistic muscles, and they help to lift up and lift down your hand, right? So these are the effectors. So see how quickly you do this, and this quick transmittance of nerve impulse is it's like a magic, right? It's a miracle, you could just say it's a magic. And this is done by the quick transfer of this nerve impulse in a bouncing way, right? Now at the end, this is the nerve ending, or this is also called the axon terminal. You can also say that nerve ending, this you can also say that axon terminal as well. Both are correct. Okay. Now this type of, now there are three type of neuron. Now what are the adaptations that you have find? First of all, they have a very long extension, cell extension, which is called axon, so that nerve impulse can transmit to a longer distance. They have many mitochondria. Okay, let me write. Okay, let me write. uh, they have many mitochondria. Okay, these are the adaptations. Now you must remember, because they may ask you sometime that how neuron uh, or how the nerve cells are adapted to perform their, how they are structurally adapted to perform their function. So these are the adaptations, structural adaptations of neurons, right? And what are the structural adaptations? Number one is they have many mitochondria, right? Many mitochondria for producing energy, for nerve impulse transfer, right? Then they have long cell extension called axon for transferring nerve impulse to distant body organs, body parts, right? And right, and you could say that they have a very distinctive structure. They have dendroids and axon terminal, which are basically connected with the other neurons, right? Okay, so this is what you can write. Okay. And as the structural adaptations, they have myelin sheath as well, right? Myelin sheath that basically insulates the axon, right? That insulates the axon. Okay, and now we will discuss that how many types of neurons are there and what are their functions, right? So there are three types of neurons, three types of neurons, and you should be able to identify each type of neurons, right? Number one is sensory neuron, right? Sensory neuron, as the name suggests, this is something that is basically associated with sensing the stimuli, right? Sensory neuron, sensory neuron. Second is relay neuron, right? This is also called a pre- previously it used to call as interneuron as well, right? But in your syllabus it is called relay neuron, right? So wherever you find the term interneuron, you may also understand that this they are talking about relay neuron, right? And the third one is motor neuron, right? Sensory neuron, relay neuron, and motor neuron. Now how do they look like, how they are, how you can understand that which is sensory, which is motor, and which is relay neuron or interneuron, they are also called. You should be able to identify their differences and similarities as well, right? Now you can see three neurons here, right? All of them have dendroids as well. These are the dendroids, right? These are the dendroids here, and they have dendroids and axon, right? And all of them have cell body as well, but their structure looks different. Now this is what you have to understand. Sensory neuron has a cell body in mid. It has a cell body which is in mid, right? And the cell body does not have dendroids. In sensory neuron, you do not find any dendroids attached or dendroids having cell body. Dendroids are at one end, axon is at one end, axon terminal at one end, and in between this is the, and this is basically your cell body, right? Now in motor neuron, you could say that this is your your cell, right? Cell body, this is your dendroids, and this is your axon terminal. Right now this is actually, this is the dendroitic terminal in the sensory neuron, and this is the axon terminal, right? They have a longer dendroitic terminal, while the motor neuron do not have long dendroids. They have very short dendroids, and they have a very long axon. Here you can see that they have a long dendroid and a long axon as well, right? And in this relay neuron, dendroids and axon both have a same length. Now the sensory neuron and motor neuron, they are found in the peripheral nervous system. Where they are found? They are found in the peripheral nervous system. Sense no yes Sensory and motor neurons are found in PNS, right? Only relay neuron is found in CNS. Now, this relay neuron is found in a spinal cord, inside the spinal cord, and in brain. And these motor and sensory neuron, they are found in the nerves, right? So our nerves is basically, they are just like these. They are just like this. These are the nerves, for example, and they have long axon and long dendritic terminals of different neurons they are going, and there are many neurons inside them, and they are long threads, fiber structure, axon terminal, axons or dendritic threads or filaments. They are in over there. There is no only one, there are many over there. Some are going, so this is basically nerve contains many axons in it, them, or the dendritic filaments, you could say that, right? Now see if you can see that there is always a direction of the nerve impulse, and always remember that that whole neuron, now you would be, now their shape is quite different, their shape is quite distinguished. You can identify what are the similarities in the structure, that they have dendroids and they have axon. They have nerve endings and they have dendroids as well. They have a cell body, they have myelin sheath, they have many mitochondria, you could say that. And but the difference is that the cell body is in the middle. Acha, in sensory neuron, the difference is that you should write uh, sensory neuron has a centered cell body, right? And its dendritic end is longer than axon end, axon terminal. You could say that it's axon. Its dendritic end is longer than axon, while in motor neuron has motor neuron has short dendroids and a very long axon, right? And as you can see that at one end it is there, and the whole axon is going, so this is a very long, but here you can see that the cell body is in the mid, right? And when we see the relay neuron, it has both dendroids and axon, both are short, right? Relay neuron has both axon and dendroids, short short axon and dendroids. ठीक है? So this way, these are the some of the differences, right? Similarities is this, that both, all of them are they transfer nerve impulse, all of them have cell body, all of them have many mitochondria, right? Except relay neuron does not have myelin sheath. Myelin sheath is present in sensory and motor neuron. Relay neuron do not have myelin sheath, right? And the difference is that the sensory and motor neurons are found in the PNS, that is in the peripheral nervous system, and relay neuron is found in the central nervous system, that is in brain and spinal cord. Now what you can observe is that the direction of the impulse is unidirectional, that is from one end to another. It is not a bidirectional thing, means it's not something that goes in both direction. It only goes in one direction, and there is a reason behind it, because there is sometime a question that how is the structure of a neuron basically makes it happen, makes it possible that the nerve impulse travel in one direction, right? So this is what we will study when we will be doing synapse, right? So what you need to understand, that what is you should also note down that what is the direction of nerve impulse is always is always one is always from dendritic end to axon terminal. From dendroids to axon, always the nerve impulse travel. It never happens that from axon to dendroids, nerve impulse is traveling, right? It does not happen. Means this is the axon and this is the axon here, right? So it does not happen that from axon to dendroids, nerve impulse is traveling. It does not happen, right? So if from this picture, if we have to draw how these three are connected, how these three will be connected, let me show a diagram that how these three uh, neurons, they are connected in a reflex arc. Now do you know what is a reflex arc, or what is a reflex action? Have you ever studied earlier before that what is the reflex action or the reflex arc? I am looking for a diagram in which they show how it is connected. Okay. Okay, do you know the reflex action is are basically those actions of your body which are very quick, and they basically help your body to prevent the damages, to prevent the losses uh, because of any emergency. Now, as you can see that uh, your sensory neuron is actually beside this picture. Let me tell you your sensory. Now how, what is the arrangement of the structures? We have discussed the receptors. Receptors are those sensors which actually identify the stimulus. They sense the stimulus, they sense that if something has changed. Now these receptors are joined with the sensory neurons. These receptors are connected with the sensory neurons. Now these sensory neurons take the message from the receptor that this change has happened to the CNS. And in CNS, what we have? We have relay neurons, right? Then the CNS basically orders the CNS, what it orders? The CNS orders the effectors, those output devices, by with the help of, no, motor neuron, I should write here, motor neuron, right? These are the motor neuron, and these motor neuron basically takes the message from the central nervous system to the effectors, which are the output devices, right? So this is basically how, what is the flow, this is the flow of, this is the flow of a reflex arc, this is the flow of the information in a nervous system that you need to understand. from the receptors to the sensory neuron to the relay neuron, which are inside in the central nervous system. Then the brain and spinal cord process the information, and then they instruct what to do in this situation. And then this message is taken through the motor neurons to the effectors, which can be muscles or which can be glands, and which respond towards such stimuli, so that they may respond that if towards any for example, we had discussed that whenever we touch something hot, we withdraw our hand. So in this case, our muscles of our hand or arm, they are the effectors. While in case of, for example, if our blood glucose level becomes higher, right, so the message is basically taken to the brain, and then the brain sends a message to the gland, which is pancreas, to release insulin, right. And this insulin is a hormone, which basically what it does, it helps in the decrease of the blood sugar. And how it does, we will be discussing when we will be discussing hormone. Neuron is a cell, and nerve is basically is an organ, right. Nerve is an organ, and neuron is a single cell, right. Single cell. There are many, for example, many sensory neuron together, they will be making tissues, nerve tissues, and together many tissues together, they will be forming nerves, which are the organs, right. Right. So neuron is just like that vessel which carries those neurons. You could say that a pipe or a vessel, just like the blood vessels, like arteries and vein, they are the vessels. Nerve is simply the vessel that basically contains those neurons in it, so that they may enclose. Because if a neuron, their neurons are very delicate and fragile. If their axon terminals or if their axons are damaged, the message cannot be sent to and from the CNS to the body, and this may cause the paralysis as well. Have you ever seen those people that who fall in paralysis? And paralysis, what happens that they, when they have paralyzed, it means that the message from their, for example, if someone hand is paralyzed, it means that the the hand cannot send the information through a neuron to the brain to respond. Now, even if they have anything hot in their hand, they cannot lift up their hand, they cannot withdraw their hand. Although, because the message cannot be, is not taken to the brain, the brain the brain, how the brain cannot respond it, right. Their nerves are damaged. So nerves and neurons are very fragile, very delicate structures, which have to be protected. And nerves are not found on the upper side of the skin, just like our blood vessels. They are found on the upper side of bones and under the skeletal muscles. So if you ever get a chance to see the nerves, you can see them in the cows and beef whenever we have Eid ul Azha, and when we have whenever they have uh, whenever we have whenever we have the Eid ul Azha, the slaughtering animals, we can see that beside the part of the bones, they have a white kind of vessels over there. These white vessels are actually the nerves, right, which carry the neurons in them. They are the microscopic structures, right. So basically, what we had been discussing. Now our class going to be end in 9 minutes, and I have to finish this topic at least. Now, what is a reflex? So I had told you the route of how does a nerve impulse transfers from receptor to sensory neuron to CNS to motor neurons and to effector. Now in our syllabus, see, this is the syllabus, and see what we have done in our class. We have done with the first state, the nervous system and how it coordinates. Second, mammalian nervous system, CNS and PNS, we have also discussed. Now we have also discussed the identification on diagram, sensory, relay and motor neuron. And we have also discussed that how the nerve impulse travel along the neurons. Now we have to discuss what is a simple reflex arc, right, and what is actually, we I have also discussed the reflex arc as well. But what is reflex arc? I haven't told you what is a reflex action, we haven't discussed. Now, for this, first of all, you need to understand that reflex actions are those actions which are performed by our body. In those situations, we do not take time to think about it. For example, if I ask that to pick up this book, you would think and then you will be picking up. You will either pick up or not pick up. This is up to you. But if your hand touches any sharp needle or any hot object or anything, for example, if you are scared of any insect or like that, and if your body touches with it, you, without any thinking, you withdraw your hand. This withdrawal of hand or these reflexes, these are those programmed responses in your body which a body has in itself. And these reflexes basically, for example, if there is a very bright light, instantly you just shut down your eyes, your eyelids are closed. So this is not something that you think to do. This is something that happens without thinking. These are the involuntary actions. Now, what are involuntary actions? Involuntary actions are those actions in which you cannot help with. These are the things which you cannot uh, control. You do not have control on these actions. For example, whenever you see a lizard, whenever you see a mouse in your house, suddenly you just scream. Now, this is screaming is an involuntary action and this is a reflex action. Your body has been programmed to do this. But for example, if you keep on seeing a lizard every day in your house, for example, the first day when you see the lizard in your house, you screamed. Second time, you screamed, but the sound was not that loud. The third day you will not scream. The fourth day it would be a usual day for you, because now your brain, your central nervous system has been trained that there is a reptile in your house, there is a lizard in your house, and now you will not scream after seeing it, right? So the first time when something happens, how your body responds, this is the reflex action, and they are very important because they help you to basically avoid the damage from that action. For example, uh, if someone calls that there is a lion coming, you start running off without thinking. This is also a reflex action, right? Now, the reflex action is basically done mostly by the spinal cord. Here the coordinator is a spinal cord. Only very few reflex actions are coordinated by brain, right? Because take the program, take the message to the brain would take time. Spinal cord is near, your spinal cord is near to your hands and legs, right? So the here in these reflex action, your spinal cord is the coordinator, the one who basically instruct what to do, right? So whenever you touch anything, like in this diagram, whenever you touch anything hot or any pointed thing, you feel the pain. Now, here are your pain receptors. Now, these receptors, something that they basically felt the change, stimulus. They are feeling that your body has touched something pointed. Now, this receptors basically is connected with a sensory neuron. This sensory neuron takes the message to your spinal cord, and here the spinal cord, you see a neuron which is the relay neuron, right? Here it is the relay neuron. Right now, this relay neuron is basically what will happen. The relay neuron is that neuron which is present in your central nervous system. Your spinal cord guides the relay neuron, then this relay neuron forwards the message to your motor neuron to take the message to this muscle of your arm to withdraw your hand. So basically, the message from the central nervous system is carried by the motor neuron, and the message from the receptor is being carried to the central nervous system by the sensory neuron. So this is basically the cell body of the sensory neuron. This is the relay neuron, right? This is the sensory neuron. This is the taking the message, and then this relay neuron is forwarding the message to the sensory neuron towards the effectors, which are the muscles. When the muscles from the central nervous system gets the message, immediately they will contract, and when they contract, you will withdraw your hand, right? So this is how it happened. This is the This is the reflex action. And what is the path, the pathway of this, the, you could say, the route of the flow of the nerve impulse is called the reflex arc, which is from the receptor to sensory neuron to the CNS, which is the relay. Over there the relay neurons are there, then the message to the motor neurons, and then we have effectors, right? The effectors are there. So I think this is all for now, and inshallah ta'ala we will be doing synapses and how the nerve, how the two neurons are connected with each other. This is what we are going to discuss inshallah ta'ala in next class, right? So till then, take care. Allah Hafiz.